All right, so I'm going to give you a couple quick tips on how to care for an Espalier fruit tree. So here we have an apple, a 4-way apple tree. And what that means is we have a rootstock with 4 different scion grafted onto it. And each scion is a different variety of apple tree. You can kind of tell with you can see with the graft union. So what they've done is they've cut a small branch off of another tree and cut it here and grafted on. Sometimes you hear skin grafting like on a person. So this is basically doing a similar, like you would skin grafting on a human, but kind of grafting on a plant. And indicator of that is this little line right here. We can see where the 2 parts intersect. So the nice thing about an apple tree versus other varieties of fruit is the fruit will grow on the first year's growth. So you can prune any branch, unlike a stone fruit where you're getting 2nd or 3rd year growth is the fruiting branches. So in these you can be a little more, you don't need to be quite selective in which branches you cut. So the goal of an Espalier fruit tree is to have it grow in a kind of a fan, kind of single plane type of growth. As you can see here, when it comes from the nursery, it has these supports to encourage it to grow in sort of a flat, fanned out shape along this fence. And so they're good to plant along a fence because it kind of fills in this kind of slow, or this kind of narrow, thin growth or location. So the growth of the fan shape really kind of works well in this limited space. So whenever you're selecting which branches to cut, first off, you always want to cut the branches that are growing from the bottom of each branch. So here's an example, and you want to cut. You don't want to cut right at the union. You want to cut just a little bit below the collar, like so. You also want to cut where you see 2 branches growing very close together, like this. You could keep one if it was maybe growing upwards, but they're both kind of growing down into the side. So I'm just going to come in here and cut both. And a good tip too, before you do any fruit tree pruning like this, is to disinfect your pruners. Just that way, if you're cutting from another fruit tree and then cutting to this one, you can limit there being any chance of getting any viruses or pathogens from the previous tree. You can either use a flame to do that, some alcohol. There's some of the disinfectants that you can use, but it's always good to clean it from each tree that you're pruning. So another branch, you want to see this kind of growing off to the side, growing taller than a tree itself. So this would be another one you want to cut. And it's important to note that there's really no right or wrong way to do it, but there are some things you can do as best practice to just kind of help to achieve the shape that we're going for. And apples are very forgiving because they're fast growers, and you could do this even during the dormant season or even during the growth season of the tree. And another important thing to realize is where the hormones are. So winter pruning will encourage more summer growth. Summer pruning will help to keep more of a compact size, because the hormones, when it's dormant, the hormones are down at the base of the tree. When the plant is in full growth mode, the hormones will be more at the tips. So when you're cutting during a growth season, you're removing the hormones. So here we're doing it in a dormant season, so it'll actually help to keep more of a compact size. And so overall, we kind of have more or less the shape we're going for. At this point, it's just more of kind of aesthetics. So we might cut this one out, cut this one here as well. You want to keep all the growth, the branches that are kind of growing in this upright position. What you might want to do is just cut a little bit shorter here, a little shorter there, just to help achieve the look. On these ones where you have the lower branch going up into the upper branch, we won't remove it completely, but just maybe halfway or a third of the way. Anywhere where you have branches crossing over each other like this, you want to pick one that you want to maintain as the dominant growth and remove the one that you don't want as a dominant growth. So that's also more of a personal kind of choice. So in this one, I'm going to cut the one that's growing more in the bottom of the branch. So sneak in there like this. Yeah, and those are some basic tips for pruning your Espalier tree. Have fun.